I honestly think with the new Runewords, they might have actually gone into Chat GPT and been like, make new Runewords for D2R, and then just accepted the results no matter what, and was like, here we go, man. These things are awesome. Let's check them out. You want to know my biggest problem with all of these Runewords right here? Like all of these? One thing that actually, if it changed, these would be usable to some degree in PvP. Take the IO rune out. Replace it with something level 30 or below. You're not using this over Shaco. You're actually not even using this over lore. Right? Like Ort Soul, you're actually not using this over lore. Ort Soul is actually just better. Or in most of these, just take a 3-socket helm and put runes that give you resist in them, and they're actually better. Yeah, okay, they might be able to be used for helping your merc survive, but is that really what we want to settle on for new Runewords? Is that what we want to get excited about? Like, oh my gosh, man, Emilio is no longer gonna get one-shotted by the Hydras in Nightmare when I go do trav runs to up my gold before I can get real items. Like, is that something we really get excited about? But these are just not, they're very lackluster. Bulwark is interesting. There's a lot of people saying that this is the best one and that this one is actually usable, and I couldn't disagree more. What is it usable for? I would argue that even on a playthrough, this is the worst one. This is one of the worst ones. On a playthrough, do you really care about damage reduction? Don't get hit. You're not using this. Even on a mercenary, you're not using this. You're putting Rock Stopper on your mercenary before you would use this. You're worried about resistances on your mercenary more than you are for physical damage reduction, because if you're worried about insight, if you need insight to boost up your mana, you're just using an Act 1 mercenary now. You're not using Emilio. You're using an Act 1 mercenary because she keeps her distance. So it's not even good on a mercenary early on. It's really nothing in a playthrough. In PvP, it jacks up your replenish life so high that you can't wear Hodo without being considered bad-mannered. Replenish life is not really good in anything besides PvP, you know, so it's very interesting to have this stat there. The damage reduction alone, even with the integer damage reduction on top of the percentage, just isn't enough. Sure, it has life leech, but still there are so many better options for your mercenary for life leech that this is still just terrible. And 5% is so bad. Tal's Mask outweighs this 20-fold, which by the way is probably cheaper than the runes associated with this helm, as odd as that sounds. The only way this helm would be cool, the only way it would be usable, is if somehow it was level 30 or below, because then suddenly it would be good. Suddenly low-level duelers would have another way to amp up their damage reduction. They currently only have one. They have String of Ears, that's it. They have no other way to increase their damage reduction. So if this was level 30 or below, it would actually be good. Let's pop into this one. This is Lucky Luciano. This one right here, my initial reaction to seeing Mosaic was, they just shouldn't make this. This screams that they have no understanding of what is making the martial arts assassin bad. It screams that they have no idea what the actual struggles with classes are, and what the actual problems with builds are. So you're telling me if I stack 2 mosaics with these 25% chance for finishing moves not to consume a charge, I can use 2 shitty claws? The claw spot on an assassin is the most important, and you're asking players to sacrifice it for some subpar claw that they have to give up a mal and a gull rune for. That's never happening at any time ever. Not in a playthrough, not early on in ladder, not late game. It's never happening. Rare claws are obviously better. Rare claws are better than most claws they've ever made, with the exception of maybe Plague. Plague actually is a good, I mean, there's still rare claws that are better, but Plague was a nice offhand benefit to the people that couldn't afford big rare claws. The big problem is it's not powerful enough, and the ability stacking here up to 50% to not consume a charge is irrelevant. It just doesn't matter to that build. It's cool that I love the fact that they're bringing in new abilities like this and trying different things, but it really misses the mark. And the 2 martial arts is underwhelming. The IAS is not high enough for a Sin Claw. You need to actually jack the MF up, or the I'm sorry, the increased attack speed, you need to jack that up significantly on claws because 90% of them are very slow. And that's not acceptable on an assassin build. You need to be fast. And it's just not enough. Let's check out the next one.
Hey guys. In case you didn't know, this thing down here is going to change from a 2 to a 3 soon.
I actually like how he did that.
Checking out their videos as well. But today, I've been given the opportunity to reveal a rune word that can be made in both a weapon and an armor.
This is Kano's presentation of this is very watchable. Very well done. I like that.
You hustle. It's got a pretty cool name and also some pretty cool stats.
No, it doesn't, dude. Okay, so for whatever reason, I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw this rune word, I saw the armor piece. And I don't know why, but my brain saw it in a helm. Like, my brain saw it in a helm, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, all right. I was still a little underwhelmed thinking it was in a helm. But I was like, okay. Like, that's something. But then I noticed it was in an armor, and I was like, oh, no, that's actually really bad. It's got 50% faster run walk, which is cool, but Enigma still has a comparable amount. Granted, this is a lot less rune commitment than an Enigma, but like people aren't using Enigma for the faster run walk. Let's be serious. You know, the increased attack speed is great, but, you know, a jewel with 15% increased attack speed and a socketed armor is probably better if that's what you're using this for. You know, there's literally jewels and other runes you could put in a 4-socketed armor that are actually better than this. You know, and I'm not talking expensive jewels. I'm talking jewels you could find at the same time you find co-runes. This armor is useless, man. It's there for a little bit of an added attack speed and faster run walk. You've added, okay, 2 abilities. You've added 2 abilities to an item that has 3 runes in it. The runes themselves give more to this armor than the actual rune word magic does. But let's look at Hustle the weapon. Now, it's unclear to me if this can be made in any weapon or if it's just swords, you know, but it's kind of not good either way, right? Oh, it can be rolled in bows, so it can be rolled in all weapons. How much better would this be if it could be made in weapons and all of those weapons looked like Mist rune word? Like if Mist rune word could proc 5% chance to proc burst of speed, then it would be good. Like then I would be like, yep, okay, because now it's on a base or on a bow that's actually doing real damage that people would use, but it takes a proc to push your IAS breakpoint to the next level. That would be amazing. But the fact that you would have to swap, and it's useless in PvP builds even with the bow, because now you're talking about multiple bows to swap through, which Zons just don't have the room in their inventory to do, the hybrid ones. And in PVM, it just seems like a hassle. So I think, yeah, with that case, I actually like that, Dombrowski. Like if they put this ability on a bow specifically and made the bow actually do really good damage, I think that would be amazing. Yeah, I didn't know it could be made in bows. Didn't know it could be made in all weapons. That's cool. All right, Dombrowski, speak of the devil. Let's check out this one.
Given the opportunity to showcase off in today's video. And that rune word is Metamorphosis.
Gotta say, first and foremost, what I love about this item is that they're bringing new abilities into the mix, right? They're introducing this new werewolf strike for Mark of the Wolf. They're introducing Mark of the Bear. I love the fact that they're doing stuff like this. Like they're adding new abilities in. I think that's insanely cool. You could actually get hyped up about this one. You could actually get hyped up about it for one good reason in particular, I think. And we'll get to that in a sec. But like this new Mark of the Wolf, Mark of the Bear, people are talking about pre-buffing with this and druids going from wolf to bear and pre-buffing both, and that's I guess what the according to Dombrowski, what the developers wanted people to do is swap back and forth between those two things. You might be able to make an uber build out of this with some more crushing blow, some more attack speed. It will probably still be a fury druid wolf. Bad-mannered pre-buffing is what this gives in PvP, but does it address the real problems that are associated with being a morphed druid? The answer is no, in my opinion, because the biggest problem with being a morphed druid is that you can't teleport. It's as simple as that. Like, if you could make it so that druids could teleport while being morphed as a bear or a wolf, you would see a significant change, and you would see suddenly shape-shifting druids be good in PvP. You would see shape-shifting druids be good in PVM, but that's single-handedly the biggest thing. If they did that, though, and they addressed the real issue behind the scenes with that, I actually think this helm is really good. Like, then it would encourage a very diverse playstyle in both PvP and PvM. It's very usable, right? The biggest reason why I think this is actually usable in PvP, currently, let's assume no changes, is +5 to shapeshifting skills, which you'll see down here. Rabies Druids are going to love that. I love that it has cannot be frozen on it. Needs faster run walk, in my opinion. You know, if they're not going to make it so that morphed druids can teleport, it needs faster run walk. Yeah, I think that at this point, my honest standpoint on Runewords is the noobs are gone. The noobs to the game are gone. We don't need to make Runewords for playthroughs. Those aren't the guys that are sticking around right now. Those aren't the guys that are still here. It's the people that want to buff their characters up, make some insane stuff, make some exciting new things. Those are the people that are around. Those are the people that I think those things need to be geared for.